Hi guys. This next video um, is about the fact that it's really what men don't understand. I was trying to find out how to word it. It's really another one of those things that I think a lot of men do not realize, and I think they don't about women. They don't realize it because mostly because they listen to other men. That's really the reason. They listen to other men who tell them basically this whole thing that women are pretty much the same. All women are the same. Um which is so wrong. Like that's like mistake number one of male thinking, that all women are the same. Um the thing that men do not understand is that women change generationally. And I get, as an older woman, as a middle-aged woman, I'm going to say, I get so frustrated because all of us get boxed. All women get boxed and put in the same category. And women my age get the same treatment, shall I say. It's not really the word I'm looking for, but we get the same treatment that 20-year-old women get, and even 30-year-old women get, you know? And I think that men really don't understand that what a woman does and wants in her 20s changes in her 30s. It changes in her 40s. It changes in her 50s and beyond. It changes. And that's where so much of the mistake comes in, because I hear so often, even women like me, and I'm telling you, women my age, I'm telling you, it sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, I have had, and I've said it on here before, men argue with me about what I want in a man. Like, they are literally telling me, no, you want the six-figure guy. No, you want the guy with the abs, and he got to be handsome, and he got to be da 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 da, and he got to have this, and if he's not all that, then you don't want him. Don't lie about it. You don't want him. It's just like, dude, like, how can I even argue with you when you're telling me something that I'm telling you is not true? Like, how do I defend myself against something that's not true? I have said that many times in my life, because that is a position that a lot of men put you in. Like, you have to defend yourself and argue, basically defend yourself against something that they're telling you about you. Let me break it down and explain it. Now, I'm not going to use myself because I've always been a little different. Okay. So I'm not going to use myself. I'll throw myself into the general female pot, but not going to just strictly use myself in this. Um, let's say a woman in her, let's say a woman in her 20s, period. Woman in her 20s. Now, I honestly believe that most men, most of these, especially red pill followers, even the Kevin Samuelites, those type men with that mindset, um, I really truly believe that those men are mostly talking about women somewhere between their probably even late teens, because a lot of them, well, I'm not going to say that because that's going to turn viewers off. Okay. um, in their very early 20s to about 30. Let's just say about 30. I really want to cut it off somewhere like 25 or like that, but let's just say into their 30s. Um, Now, first of all, this is really an age group that a lot of these men stick with, somewhere between really like 18 to like 24, 25, like that. I'm extending it to 30. Um, and the issue is that these women do want something different than women in their 30s and 40s and beyond. Um, a woman like that is looking at a man's body. They do want the abs. They do want the nice build. They do want a very handsome, nice looking guy. Like, I won't lie, it's not so much about the body, but yeah, I was really into, a guy being more handsome when I was younger, just because, you know. I think they are looking for more of a guy with the fast car, the money, and just able to just kind of throw caution to the wind and let's just have fun. Like, yeah, because when you're younger, when you're in your 20s and stuff like that, you want to go out and you want to party and you want to have fun and you want to, I mean, you think about the fact that you're getting out of your teens and you're getting out of your parents' rule, like, or your mom's rule or whatever. You're getting out, you're out of school. You don't have teachers and all these people unless you're in college. Um, Basically like telling you what to do. It's still different even if you're in college. Because in college, even, you are kind of doing it more by choice. Like, if you don't show up to the class, if you don't do the work, whatever, like, that's like on you. It's not like high school, like, where you're still kind of like under the teacher's rule. You know what I'm saying? So you're breaking out. Like, it's like freedom time at that time. So yeah, you want to go out, you want to club, you want to party, you want to do those things that are fun. You know what I'm saying? You want to throw caution to the wind. So yeah, you want a guy with some money that can take you out and do things for you and um, let you have fun and let you drink and let you just enjoy yourself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got a nice, hot, tight body. A lot of women. Yeah, you want to show it off. Yeah, you want. I mean, you're young. You're perky. You know what I'm saying? Your butt is up to here. You know what I'm saying? You want to look good. You know what I'm saying? First of all, that right there never leaves a woman wanting to look good. So let's go on into your 30s. Let's go on into your 30s. And the point that I'm making with this, to keep you all on track, is the fact that women's needs, wants, and desires change through every generation. And men continue to put all women in the same category. And it's usually that category of women like in their 20s. And I think, like I said, it's because that's what they're focusing on. Like, that's what they want. So they're having these battle issues with these young women that actually they are following. Okay. Women in their 30s. Women in their 30s now are getting out of kind of that party thing. A lot of them they're a lot more responsible now. They're looking at careers. They're looking at their their long-term life choices. Most of them, by the time they're in their 30s, they're in a career. You know what I'm saying? Um, Most of them have experienced dating a few men. They are, kind of out of that party phase, but yet they still want to go out and hang out with their girls and be just hang out with their girls, and they still do want to go out and everything. It's just changed. It's not like party, party, party. money, pop bottles, throw money to the wind, just, this guy, that guy, like you're because you have more responsibility, maybe your career, maybe you have a child or two, maybe at that time. That changes a lot in a woman. Um, Starting really to look on down the road at, man, I'm gonna be 34, I'm gonna be 35. Like, man, I'm getting closer to 40. Like, you're just not in that party mode no more. You're looking for a more serious relationship. You don't want the hot guy necessarily. I mean, every woman wants a hot guy, but your expectations of having the hot guy with the abs and the whatever is beginning to change, because you realize that a lot of times he was the play guy. Like, it wasn't like, you're probably not gonna marry the hot guy. Like, most women get that. You know what I'm saying? You're looking for a guy who is settled in his career, who knows what he wants. You're looking for a guy who um, is beginning to have a family oriented mind. And does he want children? What kind of father is he going to be? Like, that guy even has to be out of the hot boy stage. Like, you're not going to be no hot boy and thinking about being a father, or thinking about buying a home and starting to invest and getting your credit right, and your career goals, and do you need to go back to school right now, so for something a little bit, to advance your career. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that people in their 30s are going to start to think about. They're not, like I said, they're out of the hot girl, hot boy um phase. You know what I'm saying? Um so those things are changing. She's getting more settled, more grounded. You know what I'm saying? Um Women in their 40s. Women in their 40s are now, they pretty much know what they want. Like, at this point, they know what they want. Their careers are pretty much done and settled. There are women who continue to go to school and get more schooling, and, get this degree and that degree and whatever. I mean, that never stops. It really should never stop. But it's still, she's completely pretty much out of that hot girl, whatever type of stage. Now, what I said about women always wanting to look good, they do. Like, you still want to look good. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to change with a woman. There's women in their 60s and 70s, especially in this time, who are out here slaying. You know what I'm saying? So that don't leave a woman. Um, a woman in her 40s is, she, if, especially in this day and time, if she has not already bought her own home, that's what she's looking at: a home, stability, the children, even uh, women in their 40s, like, their children at this point are beginning to be, if they have children, teenagers and big kids, so that's another thing that is changing for her. It changes a lot. I didn't talk a lot about children, because I'm not necessarily saying that is even something that comes with a woman in her, 20s and 30s and 40s or whatever, really late 20s, 30s, 40s. But if it is the case, um, that is something that really changes a woman, and matures a woman, and makes a woman look very, very differently at life, because you have children, you have these lives to be responsible for. So you are not just trying to bring and attract every Tom, Dick, and Harry. You are, you got to be careful with these men around your children. So you're more cautious. Um, you are much more cautious with your money now, which that's something that began in your 30s. You know what I'm saying? When you're buying homes, when you're buying cars, when you're starting to want to get your credit up and everything, which happens usually in your late 20s, early 30s, you're trying to get that stuff together. So by your 40's, yeah, you are very well into investing and getting your credit right and, pretty much basically knowing where your life is and is going and what direction it's going in. You pretty much got your friends down and settled. A lot of times your girlfriends have probably dwindled. They definitely dwindled from your 20's when you had like 15, 16, 18, whatever, or just people you went out with. um, by the time you're in your 40's now, you probably have five, six friends maybe at the most, and that's probably very generous because you probably at that point are probably down to like somewhere between two and four like really good girlfriends, like really, because your priorities have changed. Your priorities have changed, and by your 40's now, y'all have probably been friends for well over 10, 15 years at this point. So like, y'all are girls, y'all just girls, like it's gonna always be, you know what I'm saying? So um yeah, so the criteria for men has changed. You want a man who's more settled down. He knows what he wants. He not in that club and in partying stage and chasing ass phase. He is hopefully working on his home or have his own home, is established and a bit like, you're not trying to be taken care of. Like, you don't want to be dealing with some dude who's still struggling to get his rap career off, or he still got basketball goals, or he's still out here, in his 40's, late 30's, early 40's, sagging and trying to look like a teenager and still chasing teenage young girls and stuff, which is very big. Whether you guys want to admit it or not, that's very big because so many men do not change their criteria of what they're looking for in women since they've been teenagers. Like, they really don't. They are really still chasing the same thing. They really are. And that really says a lot about them, but I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, you want a man who is about his money and his finances and things like that, and he knows what's important. Um, okay, let's get into women in their 50's. Um, can't go too far into this, but because I'm not gonna go too far into this 50's whatever because I'm not there yet necessarily. Um, I'm in the early stages of it. So, um, by the time a woman is in her 50's, yeah, she is definitely looking for a man who is settled, who knows what he wants, who is, and I am going to start speaking for myself in this point. I'm going to throw myself into the mix. Um, a man who still does like to travel, still does like to go places, still does like to do things. Because a big problem that women in their 50's are still a lot of times very youthful. They still have a very youthful mindset. Um, and they have now, a lot of times, the children are grown at this point. Housing is established, cars established, the careers established, like all that stuff is established by now. Um, and so now you're looking at the second stage of your life, if you will. Like, you still have a lot of life in you. Most women in their 50's are still very attractive and still look good, take care of themselves, whatever. And I say that because whether she is big, small, medium, or in the between, as long as she's healthy and taking care of herself mentally, physically, emotionally, and all of this stuff. Because a lot of times, by the time you're in your 50's, yeah, You're good on that. Like if you're a big woman in your 50s, more than likely you're probably going to probably pretty much that's where you're going to be. You're good with that. You've settled with that. And that's just the woman that you are. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that women in their 50s and 60s or whatever are still not trying to lose weight. Many are. You know what I'm saying? I stay right now on a very how do I put it? Very I'm on a eating plan that is very structured, very structured. I'm not going to sit up here and still say that I'm on a diet per se, but my eating habits are very, very structured right now because I do want to keep myself at a certain weight and size um, at this point. Um, so anyway, a lot of men, by the time they start getting to their 50s, are very settled. Like they're not really trying to get up and go traveling and go do stuff and everything. Like they have had fun with their boys. Like their life pretty much is pretty much very, very settled. And I think a lot of times that's where a lot of differences begin to happen because, like I said, the women are, you know, now because they've been mothers and they've been wives and they've done all this stuff for all these years, like women are now, I want to go travel now. Like I want to go and do things and see things and I might want to go snorkel. You know what I'm saying? You got some women in their 50s and 60s who want to go and go bungee jumping and just go do fun, exciting things. And one of the things that I personally find is that especially men my age, like they don't want to do that stuff anymore. Either because maybe they did it when they were younger, I don't know, or they just don't have no desire to do that kind of stuff. Like they're not trying to get up and go travel and go to this place and go to that place and do all these things. They're just really not trying to do that. A lot of men in their 50s and stuff like that, for lack of a better way of putting it, a lot of times that's when their health problems have begun. Especially a lot of black men start getting sick somewhere between their 40s and their 50s. Just the truth of the matter. A lot of them by then are on medications uh, for various illnesses, which I'm just going to be very honest, cause a lot of erectile dysfunction and cause them to slow down a lot. And so they don't want to do, um, they on Viagra by now. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest. Um, a lot of y'all, even y'all favorite guy, Kevin Samuels, from what I understand, at his demise or passing or whatever, I think dude had been popping back some Viagra. You know what I'm saying? He was with this young woman in her 30s, I believe she was. And he was popping the Viagra, and he was nice and slim. And he didn't say nothing that I know of about no health issues or heart problems or anything like this, you know. So he would be the epitome of health. He wasn't fat or whatever. He didn't have all this gray and all this stuff. Didn't necessarily look all that old. Yeah, well, he did, but like, he looked more mature than just say old, I would even say that. Um, and so, yeah, it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men in their 50s or they had all the sex, like they not doing it like when they were in their 20s and 30s and stuff like that. They still have the desire. I don't know why so many of them out here chasing these 20 something and 30 something year old women, because they cannot compete, but whatever. Most of them can't even really compete with women that is their age, like for real. Like so many of these men cannot compete. I mean, by the time these men get in their 50s, um, these men are pretty much doing some, you might get 10, 15 minutes out of them for real, maybe 20. And that's really, really seriously stretching it, you know. And that ain't to hurt no egos. That's being like really, really serious. Um, you may get that out of them, and then, oh, I gotta rest, huh? We gonna do it again. Let me sleep for about 10 minutes, or you know, uh, you know, give me a break for a minute. We gonna get back. I mean, women, y'all already know. Y'all already know. So, um, but yeah, very very subtle. It's just a really different type of. It's different between what women in their 50s and men in their 50s want and where they are. I'm just going to be very, very honest. Most men my age look very old. They look very, very old. And like I say, by the time they're in their 50s or whatever, and some of them maybe even late 40s, a lot of them have let themselves go. And I'm not saying that I want somebody, with the hard abs and all that kind of stuff, but you still want somebody to take care of themselves. You know what I'm saying? And these men have completely all gray hair, gray beards, all that. And let me clarify, because it's nothing wrong with a distinguished gentleman. Like, matter of fact, I love a not even really necessarily a salt and pepper beard. I'm talking about like totally gray, totally white sometimes. Like, it's so looks so good on a lot of men. Salt and pepper beards look so good on a lot of men. Um, but so I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm saying though, if there is a woman in her early 50s, late 40s, getting on into her 50s, and she still looks very young, which a lot of us do. Um, Sometimes you don't want to be seen with this guy who, I mean, like, really literally looks like in their 70s, like, for real. Like, my ex, just for example, and I'm gonna turn the video off. I just wanted to make this distinction that women change generationally, and you guys really got to stop putting all of us women into the same box, and saying we all want the same thing, and we just all the same. It would benefit you so much more. You would understand women more, and you'd probably get a lot luckier with women if you change that mindset about yourself. But my ex, um he was, because I was going to say he was younger than me, but actually he wasn't. He was a couple years older than me, but only a couple. And this man, when I met him, had a gray beard. This man, when I met him, had salt and pepper hair. And when we met, he was 41. He was 41. And like I say, it ain't nothing necessarily wrong with that, because obviously I was with him. So it was nothing wrong with that per se. But there's just, yeah, like when men start getting some of them start getting into their late 40s and 50s and everything, they really let themselves go. And women still want to always look good. Like, you don't always want to be, with some guy who around here looking like your granddaddy. Like, seriously. People would look at me and be wondering, like, why am I with this old looking gray headed guy? Like, for real, because I've always looked so young. So when I was in my late 30s, I was up here looking like a little baby faced 20-year-old. You know what I'm saying? And then here I am with this man who just all totally great. Now, I didn't mind. Like I say, I didn't mind. But sometimes, guys, I mean, come on. It shouldn't be that. And here's the double standard. And I'm going to turn the video off. The double standard is that when men do get that age and when they start becoming, let's say, distinguished, because all of them don't look distinguished now. But let's just say, for their sake and their ego, distinguished. Um, and the woman doesn't look that old, or is trying not to look that old. Um, a lot of times the thing with men is accept me as I am. You know, women should be taking care of themselves. Women should be always trying to look good. Like I'm okay with how I look, you know, and they don't feel the need to change. They don't feel the need to look any better. Like just basically take me as I am. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of their attitude, you know. But just heads up, that's not always cool for any woman at any age. Just to be honest. So you guys, let me know what you think about this video. Like I said, um, I've said all I need to say. If I say any more, I'm going to start repeating myself. So leave a comment, please. Let me know what you think about what I've said. Am I right? Am I wrong? What do you think about women changing generationally? And as you can see, I will say this though, as you can see, as I'm talking about women changing generationally, I also included men changing generationally too. A lot of them don't think that though. I'm telling you, a lot of men seriously out here in their 50s and 60s trying to pull 20 and 30-year-old women, not just because they think they've earned them, which that's a point too, but it's because they are really still thinking that they can pull women like this. Like they really are. They really think that, you know. Some can, a lot can't, you know. By the time you get there, honestly and truly, and just a lot of women won't say it, and a lot of the young women won't say it because it won't benefit them to say this. But trust me, when I was in my 20s and 30s, I'm gonna say when I was in my 20s, and yeah, sometime in my 30s, um, my idea of an older man or dating an older man was because he was established. He had the credit. He had probably a home. He was established financially. And yeah, yeah, it was mostly that. He was secure. He was safe. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't because he was hot. It wasn't because I think he finna blow my back out. It ain't because um he looked good on my arm. I mean, really, it wasn't because of any of a lot of the delusional things that men of that age think about younger women. It ain't that. The most part is that you're financially secure. That if you are even financially secure, you know what I'm saying. But that was my only thing for even looking at an older man when I was younger. But like I say, me personally, I'm a lot different because I really didn't date a lot of older men. Like I really didn't. I didn't. I kind of pretty much stayed in my age range. I didn't. Older men did not appeal to me when I was in my 20s. I'm just being honest. Even when I was in my 30s, like I would not be looking at 40, 50-year-old men. I just didn't. And like I said, if I did, or maybe the one or two that I may have, and I really can't remember doing that though, it would have been because they're financially stable. So, guys, let me know what you think. Um, Hit the like button, hit the leave me a comment, hit the notification bell to know when I upload a new video. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And until the next video, see you next time.